Like, yeah, you could have loads of money and not be able to get chicks. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can have no money and still be able to get chicks. So, yeah, like it's just it's. I think it's a mixture of a number of different things. I'm not. And the thing about me, yeah, I am not an expert in this stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not an expert in this stuff. Like, I struggled in certain areas as well, but like at the end of the day, yeah, like I'm happy that I got what I got. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy that I got in there and got my bits, and I've got yeah, a beautiful fiance. I'm happy with it.
Okay, what's happening, brothers? We've got a very.
You want to see my top? See the brand? Hey.
Oh, okay, nice. You have to bring me in, man. I need to get some my own gear done. But yeah, welcome, brothers. We've got a very special guest here today. We've got Mark Sams, serial entrepreneur, seven-figure entrepreneur in the house. You know, I really wanted to get him on to kind of educate and share his experience with you guys. I know there's a lot of guys in the group, you know, money and wealth is something that you're very, it's a big priority for you right now, as well as health and fitness as well. And Mark's, you know, he's done the whole journey. He's been, you know, where we're all at, and he's, you know, got to the other side as well. So it's going to be really exciting to pick his brain to see what we can learn as well. So yeah, Mark, so just tell us, you know, your journey, and yeah, up to this point now, basically, and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Mark Sams. Nice to meet everybody. I'm not sure of exactly all the type of audience that you have and exactly who everybody is, but like, yeah, nice to meet you guys. Basically, I'm like any other person. Like literally, I'm a guy that when I was younger, I was out there looking at ways that I could make money and start something and do something that was impactful and made a massive difference. I would say that there was no real sort of like anchor point. Like it wasn't like, you know, like when you hear all these different stories about people that like they used to sell stuff at school and so on and so forth. Like, I wasn't doing anything like that. I wasn't even thinking like that. It wasn't until like I got into like I got into trouble when I was younger, and then like after that trouble sort of finished, I sort of said to myself, you know what, I need to look at ways to be able to do something really big. My son was born when I was like 19, 20. So I was like, all right, you know what, I've really got to work out how to make a massive impact. So I tried everything. Like literally, I was that guy where, you know, like you're at a party and he's trying to tell you about some new business opportunity and stuff like that. And you're like, oh man, like, no, I'm not interested. And he's trying to get you to spend some money with them. I was that guy. I was trying literally everything. I was trying different. I was trying to sell Forever Living, Herbalife, like anything you could think of that I could potentially make money with, I was trying to do, right? But what I didn't realize was everything I was doing was leading up to and building my experience in my ability to be able to really get into what I was good at. So as time sort of went on, I was doing different jobs here and there, and I actually got involved in like a company where they sell digital marketing and paid advertising services and stuff like that, right? And once I got into that, I really started to see like, oh, this is interesting. I like this type of stuff, and the types of companies that were utilizing it. And I thought to myself, this is something that I could get into, but I still hadn't worked it out. Like I was still trying to sort of like fumble my way through and work out like, oh, how do I get out there and stuff like that. And one of the key things that sort of worked for me initially, yeah, was that ability of I call it OPT, but other people's traffic or other people's influence. Yeah, like where you tap into people that already have the influence with the audience that you're trying to go after. You tap into people that already have authority and trust with the people that you're trying to go after, right? And then because you're doing that, what that does is that allows you to really sort of expedite your ability to get past the curve and make some massive impact. So I had that thought process in my head. And I think I must have read a book or something came to me that made me realize that I needed to do that, right? And I remember I was sitting down with one of my friends and I was like, yeah, we've got to work out how to work with like some super affiliates. Like we've got some really good ideas on things that we can do, but we need someone that's got the audience already to be the front runner and promote it out. And we used to go out and go to events, and at the events, instead of sort of being in the event and being the person that's consuming content, we were in the bars and the pubs talking to the speakers and stuff like that, and building relationships with the actual people that actually had influence, versus being this person sitting in the crowd being the consumer type of thing. And we just kept doing that. And then we came across a guy, basically it's out there, his name's Adil Chowdhury. He's one of the super affiliates. Back in the day there was a company called ClickBank, still is out there actually, and he was somebody that was basically making big money on that platform, and built a bit of a relationship with him, and we actually created a product and a service with him. There's a deeper story to it, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But we basically created a product service with him, and it done really well. And the thing about it, what's funny, strange, yeah, is that him being a super affiliate, we got what could be considered as the, am I allowed to swear on here?
You go ahead. Feel free.
we got like the shit end of the deal, basically. We got the shit end of the deal, yeah. Like because the way that I look at it, yeah, is that like I think it was like something like the way it was set up, it was like 70% to him profit, 30% to us, between two of us that we had to split, yeah. And we came up with the actual idea for the product and the service, right? And I remember thinking to myself, should I take this? Should I take this? And I thought, and somebody said something to me that I can't remember the exact terminology, yeah, but like nothing of nothing is nothing, right? Like if I don't take this, then what am I going to do to get this product out there, get this service out there, right? But something of like a smaller percentage of something big is better, and this guy had the ability to make things really, really big. So as I said, we had this idea for, like, it was a software that basically worked with, this is back in the day, it worked with YouTube, and it done some stuff where it worked out when a video was about to trend. And basically we put this out there with this guy, and I remember like we were selling it for $997, it was £997, that's what we were selling it for. And this was when webinars first started and Zoom calls first started, and he had it, and we was using a platform called GoToWebinar, where at the time it had a cap of 1,000 people that could be on it, and we got 1,000 people on it, and we made over 6 figures in that night, within the first night. Now, don't get it twisted, like it took us like 3 months to get the project up and running and get it running, but like that's the power of leveraging other people that have influence. And that was my first big intro into making money online and being in a situation where I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff actually works. Like I can actually get money coming in and stuff like that. And then I thought to myself, oh, here we go. And you know, like once you've sort of been there, you can't go back. And even though that business went down and we have to do some different things, we'll talk about later, like once you've actually seen it and you've done it, like you can't go back. So that's kind of like the beginning aspect of my story. Yeah, like I've gone on and done more things since then, but yeah, I don't want to keep going on, you know what I mean?
No, amazing. And for the brothers who don't know how we know each other, like Mark is actually one of my mentors. We actually met, I'd say 2019. So it was like a public speaking course, and Mark was one of the coaches there, and such a warm guy. And literally, you know, I've been trying to just sponge as much, you know, good information as I can whenever we do speak. And he's so super knowledgeable in terms of the whole world of, you know, marketing, you know, internet marketing, and all kinds of marketing, really. And obviously, you know, you touched on, you know, the power of kind of leverage, which is actually crazy, because I actually spoke with another coach. He was more of a dating coach, but he's actually into business as well. But he was talking about how he kind of related it more to women. So he kind of connects with kind of high influence guys and models, and kind of connects them both and uses that for his advantage. So that's interesting how, you know, that kind of reminded me of that conversation. And you actually describe yourself as like a connector as well. Would you say that's still the case, or you've kind of changed?
100%. Like my core, the way I think about business is all about connecting, but influence, understanding where the influence is within a particular space, and understanding how I can influence that influence. Do you know what I'm saying? Or how even the word manipulate that influence so that I can get what I want out of it. Like that's what my mindset is about. That's how I think about things. And since I've had success, it's like I've always thought about things like that. Like, and if you look at it, this stuff is not new. I'm not talking about anything new. Like you look at what brands do and so on and so forth. You look at advertisements, yeah, like Coca-Cola, they use celebrity. Different companies, they use celebrities. They use their influence to push their brand. Like now, you've got all these social media influencers that are pushing other people's brands and products and so on and so forth online. Yeah, like this stuff isn't new. This stuff has been around for ages. Like, in fact, the label influencer and so on and so forth is more of a new age label. It's actually joint ventures, alliances. That's really what it is. It's people have been doing that from the dawn of time, masterminding and so on and so forth. It's just got a new tag to it. But at the end of the day, this stuff has been going on from with days. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And how does that work? How do you kind of manipulate the situation in your favor? Is it just like, how do you understand, number one, what people want, and how do you put yourself in the position to make that happen without cash? Or is it cash? What works?
So obviously, if you got cash, then that makes things easier, right? Like if you can just pay somebody to do something, but typically it's like doing that, it can get quite expensive, and obviously you don't know the results that are going to come back from paying somebody unless they've got like a proven track record. So yes, if you've got the cash and you've got a product, you've got a service, you've got something that you want to get out there, if you've got the cash, then you pay someone that has really an engaged audience and you get your message out in front of them, then yes, that is the quickest way to market. Yeah. However, when hopefully, I'm thinking the people that I'm talking to, yeah, the people are starting out, like this is guerrilla marketing. Like, you got to work out, like, how do you get in without having to spend a load of money, right? And for me, what it was about was, it's research, it's taking time, it's kind of like, I call it, I like to say, like, it's like being like a detective, right? You know, like when a detective steps on a scene, they don't walk in and just say, "Yep, Josh, you're the murderer." Do you know what I'm saying? They don't know it was you straight off the back. Do you know what I'm saying? They come in and they look around, they're picking up clues. They're seeing that the wall was hitting this way, that got left there, there's a hair strand there, and so on and so forth. They're picking up clues, and then with all of those clues, they come to a conclusion. Do you understand? And it's the same thing with the way that you approach when you're thinking about like a business and you're thinking about, how do I get out there, right? Like, you start off and you analyze your audience base, like your customer base, like who are your customers, and never think you know your customers. Just because, even if you are your customer, like, don't think you know your customer. Like, spend time, go in groups, listen to what people are talking about, take note of what people are talking about, take clues, get the clues. Yeah, what's going on? Look at who is the people that have authority, who are the key influencers in that space. What are they saying? What types of messages are they using to get these people excited, to get these people pissed off? Like, what is going on? What's happening? Yeah, you need to pick up clues. You need to really understand what is going on with these people. Yeah, and that gives you an insight. And it takes a bit of time, because it's not just, as I said to you, it's not just like you go in and instantly you get it. You go in and you're picking up these clues, and the more you go back and you start, like, you'll get epiphanies that hit you at a random point. You might just be walking down the street on your way to the shop, and because you've been picking up these clues, all of a sudden you'll just be like, "Oh, hold on! If I put that with that and then put that with that, that will make this." And you'll just be like, "Whoa, let me try that," and then you'll see, and it either works or it doesn't work, sort of thing. But like, it gives you insights. It gives you insights into things that nobody else has thought of, and you think, "Wow, nobody else has thought of this in this space." And you go and do a bit more research than that. No one else has thought about it, and you're like, "Oh, here we go! I found a gap in this market." And then it's about, obviously, building relationships with these different influencers and stuff like that, and things like this, right? Like, you see, like what you're doing right now, like where you're interviewing people, you're asking different people questions. Like, one of the biggest ways that I built relationships with influencers, yeah, is I would just go and I'll tap into their ego. Like, typically, if somebody's an influencer, they like to share, they like to talk about what they're about and stuff like that, yeah? So we can tap into that. Do you know what I'm saying? We can tap into that ego of their ego of wanting to let people know about what they're about and stuff like that, right? So the quickest and easiest way of doing that, right, is, let's say you're in the sports industry or you're in the fitness industry, right? Like, I would do something like where two things. I would interview people that are in the sports industry, yeah, but obviously I've got to have a product to sell, I'll interview them. But at the end of the interview, when I finish the interview and I've come offline, I would take a bit of time just to really ask them some questions, see what sort of things, and see how I can connect with them and let them know about what services and offers I have, and potentially look at how could we potentially partner and work together as like a JV affiliate partnership or something like that. In addition to that, I would do things like where I would go out to these different influencers and I would ask them questions, like poignant questions about the marketplace. Like I might ask them, like, what are their predictions for 2021 in such and such an area? Yeah, and I would get them to send me like back either written insight about it, or even a video or something like that. And I'd collate all of those different responses, and I'd create like a special like ebook report or a blog post or whatever it is. I'd create some sort of like service where people can either access it, and I'd get them to also promote it, or it'd be something like where people have to put their name and email address in to get access to it and stuff like that, and I could build a list off of other people's generated content and stuff like that, and start building an audience with it and stuff like that. So those are the types of things that I think about. Does that help?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that I'm sure a lot of guys are going to find that information valuable. And even myself, my ears are perked. I'm listening to everything you're saying.
Cool.
Okay, so share with us, obviously the big hit. Obviously, as much as you can. Obviously, I guess Ninja Outreach was the one that really took you to the next level. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, definitely. So after doing some stuff with like a deal and stuff like that, yeah, like basically that business went down because what was it that happened? Basically, we were reliant on another platform for what it is that we were working, and that platform changed their rules, which was YouTube, and they basically kicked us out of their platform. Like we was part of their API, and they kicked us out, and we weren't allowed to use it. So the software went down overnight. Basically, it became obsolete, and so then it was like, rah, like I just had all this success, but like, and as I say, remember, we were only getting 30% off of the revenue that was all generated, right? And give me 2 seconds. I just need to put my charger in.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we was only getting 30% off of what was there. So it was like, once that finished, we had a bit of money left, but then that's all we had was a bit of money left. There wasn't no money coming in, right? So what was weird is that it got to a little bit of a point of where I think we had like a 1.5 year runway left of money, but like we were still spending like we were making that amount of money on a monthly basis all the time. So our money went down pretty quick, pretty much in like 6 to 8 months, to the point of where I'd say it was in 2013 now, and basically I had no money left. And the thing about me, yeah, I didn't want to go back to getting a job. Sorry, 2 seconds, bro. Yeah, I didn't want to go back to getting a job, yeah. So I thought to myself, you know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work out again what's going on within this space. And what was interesting was that I was looking at lots of different things, and I was just doing research, and it got to the point of where I was trying to work out how to do this, but my money had run out by this time, yeah, and like what we had left had run out, and pretty much I was back at rock bottom. Like I had to actually start signing on. I was going to Barking Job Centre in Barking, and it was just like, man, things are a bit tough again. Do you know what I'm saying? My daughter was born, didn't have no money coming in, but then I came up with this idea of where, you know, like similar to the fact of what we talked about, connecting with influencers, yeah. Like I came up with this idea of that if you had a software that allowed you to put in certain inputs, and then you can go and find influencers within a particular space, like a ton of them, hundreds of them, that you can then reach out to and start to build relationships with them. If you had a software that allowed you to do that, wouldn't that be cool? And I want you guys to understand, I can't code. I don't code nothing. I don't know how to code at all, right? But what I do know how to do is I know how to get people together and make things work, right? So I thought that would be super cool. I saw a lot of people talking about like this influencer marketing stuff, this this outreach stuff and stuff like that. And I thought if there was a software that allowed you to do that. So I've done a bit of research. We saw that there was a couple of tools already out there. We tested out the tools and we thought to ourselves, you know what? There's a lot of stuff missing within these tools. And the same process, we did a ton of research into the marketplace. In fact, I think I interviewed over 400 people that had used the competitor softwares in the past, and I asked them questions about like what made it work, what they liked about it, if they had the dream feature they could have, what would they have in it, yeah? And 2014, actually it's January the 15th, 2014, I always remember that date, is the date that we first launched this software, right? And the first 2 years, pretty hard, but we got that business from scratch, no money, no influence, no nothing, yeah, to the point of where back up to 2018, we had it generating just over 100K in monthly recurring revenue, and doing about 100,000 visitors a month to the website. So yeah, like, and we grinded it out. Like it was work. We put work in. Like we was interviewing people. We was doing all the things I've said so far. We was doing expert roundups. We was putting content out there. We was proper marketing. We was getting out there and putting stuff out there, putting content pieces out there. We didn't have, in the beginning, we didn't have no money to do no paid advertising. So we had to do everything organic. Do you know what I mean? And we really built up our audience and we took every opportunity we could get. And I remember, like, I think it was like in about the year 2, there's this company called AppSumo. They're like how would I put it? They're like a Groupon. They're like a Groupon for the tech industry, yeah? So they do special offers on tech services, and they're like a Groupon for the tech industry. So they, through our work and what we was putting out there and stuff like that, we approached them, and this is the thing as well. We wasn't waiting for them to approach us. We approached them, and we said to them like, "Yeah, we want to do a deal with you." Again, it was one of those deals where the deal wasn't the best deal for us, but it gave us a ton of exposure. Like, so I remember it was weighted in their favor, and they wanted to do us a deal with one of our packages where it was like super cheap than what we'd normally offer, right? But that deal generated us over a couple of 100K in revenue within 2 weeks, and because they've got a list of over 1 million people, so they mailed it out to their list. They promoted it for like 2 weeks, and it literally was a smasher, and it smashed it. And then what that did, the more important thing that gave us, because it gave us so much exposure, even though people came in on a very cheap package, that package was kind of like a starter package, so people ended up upgrading to other packages, so we made money from that. People end up taking our done for you services, so people started paying higher ticket money, and then what else happened? And also the exposure started getting other companies reaching out to us, wanting to interview us and stuff like that. So we got interviewed by the New York Times, Huffington Post, loads of bloggers reached out to us and stuff like that. So that just completely like set us on a stage where from that point onward we were consistently getting like attention and so on and so forth. And that also I think brought the attention. There was like an indie tech magazine that we got a write-up in, and that got the attention of our investor, a guy from Miami who saw our business, and he reached out to us and was like, "I'm interested in buying the business." And what was interesting is that he actually flew into the UK. Obviously, I was coming to the UK, and he didn't come just for that, but he was coming to the UK, and he's like, well, I met up with him and sat down with him, and nice guy, really nice guy. Went through some stuff, and his name's JP as well, and went through some stuff, and like Jean Pierre, and like basically we actually first of all said nah, we didn't want to sell. Like we was in a position where we was like, nah, this business is growing, we're good, we don't want to sell, so on and so forth. And he just was steadily, every few months, he'd come out to us and be like, oh, what about this? What about that offer? What about this offer? And I remember like the beginning of 2018, he put an offer in. My business partner called me and was like, we've got to take this. This is ridiculous. It was a 7-figure offer, and it was like, we've got to take this. This sets us free for good. And I was just like, yeah, for real. And we sort of went down that process of getting the solicitors and doing all of the paperwork and stuff like that. And we sold the business. And I literally was sitting down. When it actually went through, I remember I was sitting down just watching TV. I can't remember what I was watching, and I knew it was supposed to come in on that day. And I was looking at my phone, and I logged into my account, and I looked, and I was like, what the fuck? This is sick. And I saw the money there, and I was just like, wow, this is crazy. My missus was next to me, and I showed her and stuff like that. So like, yeah, and then from there, we've sort of then we went into like. So before that, I was doing a little bit of stuff into property, but from there, we bought a few. We bought a few properties outright and really started getting into property. And that's what I'm doing now. It's like I do property investing and obviously property training, but we also help people in the property space who want to get into the property space actually get results in property and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's amazing. It's like a Rocky story, to be fair.
Crazy, yeah.
And, yeah, and I feel it more because, you know, I didn't even know that you went to the Barking Job Centre. That's the one I went to. I went to that. I went to that one.
Way.
Yeah, after university, I think like my first. After
the one next to the pub, it's next to the pub. Next to that, there's a pub on the corner.
Yeah, run the corner from the station.
Yeah. I was there. That was my local job centre, bro. Like it was amazing. It's such a depressing place as well. Like people just sit there like, it's so depressing. But like it means must. But like as I said, I remember I was actually talking to one of the ladies in there, like one of the advisors in there, and I said to her, I've got this idea that I think is going to change the world. And I remember she said to me, okay, that's okay, Mr. Sams. Well, let's first of all try to get you a job. There's some work in Sainsbury's, like, and I was like, do you not understand? I'm going to change the world, really. You know, get what I'm doing out here. But this is what, at the end of the day, yeah, when a lot of people don't get what it takes to be an entrepreneur and what it takes to do this stuff. And even when you've got money, yeah, it's still hard. Like you see, building businesses, yeah, it's hard because it's not about money that builds business. It's about you. It's about people. It's about relationships. It's about how you impact your audience and how they trust you and they want to spend money with you because of what you're doing and the way that you show up. So yeah, it's a journey, and no matter what you're going into, you have to pull up your sleeves and you have to make shit happen, and that's it. Like, and it obviously is easier when you can afford to pay for a team and have teams do certain things. Yeah. However, whatever way, if you've got something that's worth making an impact in the world, then do you know what I'm saying? It's your duty to get it out there, sort of thing. Yeah, man.
For sure. And so, how could you like give us a snapshot of your life? Let's say lowest moment going to that job center, because I know how rough that is. Like I've been there. It was like one of the worst points of my life. I even regret it to this day. Like my mom was like, yeah, you know, you've been paying tax for all these years, just go there. You know what I'm saying? But I wish I didn't have to go through that. So that for me, that was like one of my lowest points. So I'm not sure how that relates to you. So I want you to compare that to what life is like now, or when that check came through your first couple months. So I know you said there was a couple times you kind of lost a bit of motivation. I'm not sure if that's still accurate, if you still look at it that way.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, okay, so first of all, I would say signing on, it wasn't really my lowest moment because I always knew that I wasn't destined to that position. It was a means to an end. Do you know what I mean? Like all I needed to do was be able to buy a big bag of rice and some chicken that I could cook on a weekly basis and get through. Do you know what I mean? So like that was all. That's all it was a means to an end. What kind of was the lowest moment for me? Yeah, was when out of that money, all I could afford to do was pay £25 a month for my daughter. That was embarrassing for me. That was like, oh man, I can't take that. But the sort of stuff that I did, yeah, like, and not everybody's into this type of stuff, yeah, but like, I would go out and every morning, yeah, and I'd like prime my mind. Like I'd go on like a jog, and as I'm jogging, I'm just like I'm thinking about like what I'm grateful for, like what I'm about to achieve, and I'm visualizing and so on and so forth. And I'm seeing things like I already have them in my mind, and I didn't have them yet. Like, and I would do that consistently on a daily basis, yeah, like really painting that picture of what I want my life to be like, and so on and so forth, yeah. And that's just what I did. Like some people were into that, some people not. I don't really care. Like that's what I did to get myself motivated and push through. Because when you're in a shit situation, even if it takes a minute to even get out of it, and sometimes it just seems like nothing's working. Everything you're trying doesn't seem like working. So it makes you feel like, you know what, like, oh, I just want to quit and so on and so forth. But sometimes you just got to keep going, and you just, as long as you can see there is a steady progression, or there is a route to success. Like, and you've got to be careful of not being deluded, because in some cases there isn't a route to what you're actually doing is a shit idea, and it's not going to work. Do you know what I'm saying? And you've got to be very analytical and be out of your own like internal emotions and stuff like that, and look at something to say, this is a good idea. I can see this has got legs and this is going to get somewhere. Yeah, it's just I've got to keep working at it. Or you've got to be able to say, you know what, people are not responding to this right, and it takes the ability to be very honest with yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, people are not responding to this right. It doesn't seem like people are getting this, and in some cases you've got to push a little bit further just to really make sure. But if it really isn't the right thing, sometimes you've got to let something go and move into something new, and that's what it is. And in relation to like the different ups and downs, even so for example, once we sold the business, right? Like, you think that's it, I'm happy for life, right? That's what you think. You think that's it. You don't have to worry about bills. You're happy for life. And what this taught me is that the journey, in my mind, the journey was always about, I wanted it to be rich or making enough money so that I don't have to worry about money anymore. And that was my goal. But the goal was wrong, only because I realized, for me, I think the goal was wrong anyway, yeah. Only because that once I got to that position, yeah, what I quickly realized was that, okay, it was a novel feeling to know that, okay, I don't need to worry about bills, I can cover all these things, I can buy what I want and stuff like that, yeah. But once that stops, once you're like, that's it. So I didn't have anything else to do. So when I was running Ninja Outreach, before I sold Ninja Outreach, there was goals, there was things, there was people that were relying on me, the team relying on me. They had goals to do. I wake up in the morning, I know that I need to do this and this. We're trying to get to this particular place, and we were moving towards something. There was achievements and things happening. There was, at the end of the day, it was a sense of fulfillment for getting to a certain place, right? Now, once I sold it, like, pretty much after I've been on holiday a few times, done a few things, like I'll just be at home. All my friends are at work. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, and I'm just at home, and like, there's nothing really going on. And like, I started drinking a little bit. I started just watching TV, and it was like, I didn't have no direction, and I basically had to go and get myself some coaches and some people that to work on what's going on here, because everything is what's going on in your mindset. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's what I believe anyway. Like, everything is got to do with what's going on in your mindset. And I needed to like re-identify like what my purpose is and what it is that I'm trying to achieve, what I'm trying to go after. And that allowed me to get back into like creation again and looking at like, what do I want to put out to the world? Like, how do I want to show up and stuff like that? Yeah. And that got me fulfilled, because on a level, yeah, like, it's in the moments of the day and the things that you do and the way that you impact in the world, for me anyway, yeah, that when I get to the end of the day, I feel like, you know what, that was a good day. And if I just have days where they're aimless and there's no intention, like, I start to feel like, what's the point? And it doesn't matter that I can do whatever I want, right? It just feels like it doesn't feel fulfilling. And so for me, I started to realize that, and it's easy for someone to say this that has money, right? Like, but like, it's not about the money. It was about it's about the journey. It's about what I'm creating, what I'm putting out there, and so on and so forth. And when I was building the Ninja Outreach business, what was so cool is that I was, every day it was I'm trying to work something out, we're putting something together, we're creating something, we're doing something new, we've got a new goal, we've got a new target that we're trying to hit, and it's leading to something. There's achievement around it. And when I stopped and I didn't have anything else to do at the time, I did get a bit depressed, and that's why I was looking for something, and we met. I was going out to different events and trying to work out what is it that I want to achieve next. Like, what do I want to do next? And it took me a little while to really work it out, because the normal things didn't excite me anymore. Like, if it was just a project that just made money and there was nothing really fulfilling about it, like, it didn't it didn't really do it for me, and it was kind of annoying. I wish it did it for me, but it didn't. So it's like I had to find something that really sort of tapped into me. And yeah, like as I say, I really love marketing, and it just happened that I was doing a bit of marketing, and I started doing some stuff within the property space, and then I used my marketing to generate leads, like so motivated landlords, people that want to sell their properties in the marketing space. And I realized is that a lot of the people in the property space, they're not doing that. Like they was doing like very archaic, old school type of stuff, like sending out letters to landlords, like really, like begging estate agents to work with them, and the estate agent has no incentive to want to work with them. Do you know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, when you look online, you can see that 100,000 people are searching for particular keywords and searches that say that they're interested in property. Why not put your message in front of those people? And that's what I started doing, and we started generating loads of leads, and then we started telling people about it, and a business built out of it, and it literally changed the game for us.
Amazing. We're going to get into that as well. And Mark, just to show the audience, you're a relatively young guy as well, right? How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Relatively young? No, I'm 42.
Okay, and obviously you said you had a daughter young. Did you say young? How old are you?
My daughter's she's 10, and my son is 20. My son's 20 actually.
Oh, we got a son as well. I never knew had a son.
Yeah, my son's 20. Yeah, so he goes to university up in central London.
Oh, amazing!
He lives in Luton. Yeah.
Oh, and so you had your first child, your son, when you were 23.
About around that sort of age. So yeah, I think it was about basically where it works out to be. I can't remember now. Like he was born in 2000. So yeah, he's actually 21. Sorry. Yeah. So he's born in 21. Yeah. So he's 21. So I can't remember exactly how old I was, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. And sorry, just because obviously I know I've got quite a few listeners in the US. When we talked about signing on, it's like literally the government gives you money while you're looking for a job, like job seekers allowance.
Yes.
Yeah. So just
benefit,
to make just to get to the ones. Yeah. So obviously, it seemed like you've had experience with women from young, I guess, like in terms of even like kids and stuff. I got no kids, I'm 30 now. So obviously, because there's a lot of guys watching this, they might have gone through potentially a divorce, or they're very aware of, let's call it female nature. So this whole red pill mindset. I think we spoke about this the other day about, the nature of women, and how women are hypergamous. I think that's the word. So meaning they always try and date up, if that makes sense. If they have an opportunity, they'll try to go for a richer man, a better looking man. There's a thing called looks, money, and status, if that makes sense. Okay. That's apparently what makes a man attractive. So you being on both sides, and you obviously interacting with, high profile men, high status men, how do you view that situation, especially in your own personal experience of, maybe having previous relationships and children and everything like that? How do you view it? Obviously be as open as you want. I don't try to get you in trouble.
I think, what I noticed, is that you see, like, for example, when let's say you're in a club, and you're ordering champagne, that's coming over with sparklers and so on and so forth, and girls are seeing that type of stuff, right? Yeah, you get a certain type of girl that wants to approach you when they're seeing that type of stuff. That's what I noticed. It's a certain type of girl. When I say a certain type of girl, like that type of girl, is a gold digger in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like typically they're very like, they're seeing the money, they're seeing the way you are flossing and stuff like that, and they're thinking, whoa, like I want to be part of that. And you see them start sort of like edging up towards you and laughing and joking and pushing themselves up on you and stuff like that, where if you wasn't doing that and you were playing low and you were being very low key, the likelihood of them stepping to you would be very unlikely. That's what I would say. However, a girl that like who sees your internal potential, so you may not have yet realized what you're going to be and who you're going to be and so on and so forth, but when you talk to them, when you have conversations with them and stuff like that, a girl that sort of sees that, right, this guy is going to do certain things, and I can see they're driven and stuff like that, like to me, that's a more wholesome girl, someone that's going to be there for you for the long term and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, someone that's going to ride with you through the thick and the thin. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the ups and the downs. Yeah, everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. Yeah, so that's the way I look at things. Yeah, so I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what I from my journey, that's what I've noticed. And you get the gold digger girls, you get the girls that only are going for like the thug type boys, or the boys that like are out there on the streets making money, or the boys that are doing certain things that like where it's like that's exciting and so on and so forth. So you get that, right? And but those guys know, the ones that are just coming for that, yeah, that they're just like I don't want to be rude, yeah, but like, they're just somebody that's just looking to get a comeuppance, yeah, versus someone that is looking at you and what you're about and looking at the long-term aspect of being around you and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my sort of insight on it. Like, I ain't no pro. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like at the end of the day, like I'm just someone that's like, I'm just internally driven myself, and I've come across like some beautiful women. I've utilized the fact that they thought they were seeing that like, oh, okay, cool, this guy's doing amazingly well, like, and I've utilized that to my benefit at times, yeah. But that's not where I want to be from a perspective of like someone that I want a wifey down, a long term thing, if you know what I mean.
For real, because I know there's a lot of guys who are literally anti-monogamy, like no marriage, like especially as a man who's successful with money, it's like the worst thing you can do. I'm not sure if you've seen like Dr. Dre and Jeff Bezos, and there's a lot of these even Kanye West now, a lot of these high profile billionaires are all getting divorced, and it's like, you know, obviously a big chunk of their wealth is going with that. What's your views on that versus polygamy, multiple relationships, no legal tie-ins to any woman? What's your views on that?
Yeah, I'm not like, that's deep. That's deep stuff. Like at the end of the day, like I hear what you're saying. Like, who wants to get with somebody you don't know? Like, this is the real world. You don't know what that person's about. And even if they're good in the beginning, yeah, if they see you come up, they think that they will potentially even, and they might even be right to say that they were part of your rise. Yeah, they were the person, the rock that was holding you down to get you there, and maybe they even there was a tangible things that they did to get you where you are. Yeah, like, and yeah, like the law says that you have to pay out almost up to 50% in some cases of all your money. Like, that's painful. That's painful. So like, and sometimes it's very awkward to talk about prenups and so on and so forth. Yeah, but I think like if you're getting into something and you can see that there could be a potential for, at the end of the day, yeah, you don't want to go into a long relationship thinking that, but like, you've got to look at it kind of strategic, where you're saying to yourself, like, what am I going to do here? Like, do I need to make sure that I'm putting a prenup in place or something of that nature, yeah, to make sure that you're protecting your wealth? But then at the same time, other people are like, you know what, I'm down to work with this person, but it depends. As I say, when you get into levels where you're making millions, then it's like, it's a different thing, because losing that amount of money is not fun. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not in that exact situation as of yet. But I would say talk to legal people, talk to legal advisors, like separately from talking to your missus and stuff like that, right? And just work out how you protect your assets. Because if you've got kids and so on and so forth, and you're going into new relationships with people that are not the mother of those kids and stuff like that, like, you need to know how to protect your assets. And I'm not a legal advisor for that specific thing, so I'd say speak to the right types of people. Like for, if when it comes to your money and stuff like that, at the end of the year, you go to an accountant. Like, if it's coming to that type of stuff, speak to people that specialize in that area and have them help give you insight on the way to do it. Make sure you have a will set up, all that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
For sure. Are you're engaged at the moment, right? Or you married already?
Yeah, engaged at the moment. Yeah.
Have you been thinking about the whole prenup thing, or is that like too sticky?
And you know what's strange? Yeah? Like I think to myself that like it's an awkward conversation, right? It's an awkward conversation because it ties into the potential that this is not going to go to where we think it's going to go, and the what if type of scenario. But it's important. It's important. It's important to at least be to bring it out on the table, and it can cause a bit of like, it can be a bit of an off-key conversation, but I think it is something that you should be raising with people, with your partner. Do you know what I'm saying? Because boy, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, like I just think it's important. I think it's important to bring it up. Like I brought it up, like, and it was awkward, and it wasn't, and it caused a bit of. Do you know what I mean? But like, I just thought it was necessary to bring it up. That's me. Yeah. Not everybody does. Not everybody thinks it is. Like, but you see, anybody that has been stung by it, yeah, and you've talked to them, they're like, I wish I would have done that. Do you know what I mean? They're literally like, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have protected myself, and so on and so forth. And so sometimes you can learn from these different scenarios. And if you look at the number, and the thing is, you know, what's crazy is me as a marketer, yeah, I work by numbers. Everything is numbers. Always look at the numbers, yeah. And you hear me talking about this stuff like to you all the time, yeah. And it's like, if you look at the numbers, the success rate in marriages is bad. It's really bad. It's like so the likelihood is, no matter how much you feel you're in love right now, yeah, like the likelihood is that may not work. Do you know what I'm saying? That may not work for absolutely any reason, even if it's a point of like so the relationship with my daughter, the reason why that didn't work is because I was grinding so hard trying to build a business that I neglected spending time with her, which meant that we moved apart, and that's why that didn't work. Now imagine that was the case, yeah, but then you was married, and then that person could take a big chunk of your money. Nah, mate, that'd be annoying. That'd piss me off.
So your relationship with your daughter and son's mothers, is that are they same woman or separate women?
Two different women.
Okay, and any marriage in those as well?
No. This is no.
There's going to be guys here saluting.
I wasn't really a marriage type of person, to be honest. Yeah, it's only like as I've got a bit older, and I'm just like, you know what, like, let me just chill down for a little bit. Do you know what I mean? But back in the day, I was just like, nah, man, I'm not getting married to no one. Do you know what I mean? That's just how I was. But like, I've just chilled down, and I've just calmed down a little bit now, and I'm just like, all right, cool. Let's try this new wave. You know what I mean?
There's at least one guy watching this cheering right now. But obviously, you still got to pay child support, isn't it? That's a legal requirement, isn't it?
I've never paid child support. I pay money myself. I've never had anybody have to send the child support after me, if that makes sense. I handle mine. Like, why would I? Like, it's my kids. I'm never gonna. What's it called? I'm never gonna not support my kids. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's one thing about me, is that I think that like stuff like that, like if a guy's not paying child support and not looking after their kid, to me they're a waste man. That's a waste man. That's some dickhead. Yeah, and I'll tell anyone that I don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's like, if you've got kids out there, you need to make sure you're doing what you're doing to look after them. And even if you're in a really bad situation, all you can afford to do is a small amount, do what you can do. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, do what you can do, and have the intention that once you're in a better situation, you can do better. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that what amounts you have to be paying. I'm just saying, make sure that whatever you're making, that you're doing something. And if you're not making anything, yeah, get off your fucking ass and do something, and start making money. Because just as long as we've got our minds around us, yeah, like, and our mental faculties about us, like, there's no reason especially in Britain and any Western country. Like, I can't talk for other countries, yeah, but any third world country, but any Western country, there's no reason why you can't make money. There's no reason, even if you're doing it on your own, if you're going to get a job, like, you can generate a level of income. Like, there's no reason, no reason why you can't. Like, it's on you, because you're not doing what you need to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of these dating coaches as well. They'll say things like, "A woman never loves you; she only loves how you make her feel in the moment." That's their whole saying. It's a bit cynical, but yeah, that kind of came to my mind when you were talking about, obviously, kind of your plans, kind of for the future, and your views on marriage and everything like that. But yeah, no, that's so. Also, just to touch on that in terms of the whole women's side of it, just to wrap that up. So it sounds like, if you feel like money's going to be an attraction to women, it's going to be only a certain type of women, and it's only if you choose to show that off as well. Would you say there's a lot of rich men that still aren't really abundant in the relationship side of things?
Of course, confidence. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can have loads of money and just be a bit, I don't know how to put it, but like you haven't really got any swagger. You're a bit, like, do you know what I'm saying? You're not confident, and then that blocks you. So you're like, I'm not getting it. You're not getting yourself out there, and you're not seeing anybody. So yeah, of course, I would say that that's the case. But to me, what I've seen like all types of people, like people with no money getting hot girls, people that potentially could be considered as not like your typical like good looking type of person. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like getting hot chicks. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because their swagger, their patter, the way they talk, the way that they move around their people and stuff like that. Yeah, like that is attractive to certain females and so on and so forth. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I've seen a lot of different things that you look at and think, how did you do that? Or how did that work? I don't get how that works, but there's something in it. Do you know what I'm saying? There's something in it. So yeah, I've seen a lot of different things. Like, again, like, yeah, you could have loads of money and not be able to get chicks. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can have no money and still be able to get chicks. So yeah, like, it's just it's I think it's a mixture of a number of different things. And the thing about me, yeah, I am not an expert in this stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not an expert in this stuff. Like, I struggled in certain areas as well, but like, at the end of the day, yeah, like, I'm happy that I got what I got. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy that I got in there and got my bits, and I've got yeah, a beautiful fiance. I'm happy with it.
Amazing. And you met her before? What part of your journey did you meet her as well?
I actually met her, yeah, when it was quite interesting actually. I actually met her just when my money was from the other project, money was running out, and I actually then had to start. So I met her while I was signing on, and the struggle of building up that business. And yeah, that's why we're still together, because she stuck with me through the journey. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she stuck with me through the journey, and she's high profile from perspective of like what she does for herself, like her industry and stuff like that. Like, big money. She's in a big money industry. So there was no. This is why I say it's not always like the same. It's not always like there's not one. Not everything is pigeonholed in one sort of like setup. There's not everything is black and white, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like based on my personality and the way that I was, she could see I was going to win. Even though I wasn't winning right there and then, she could see it, because, you know what I'm saying? You can tell when you're like, well, there's something special about that person there. And I'm not saying that like, but on a level, like, you could see, like, anybody that was coming across me and interacting with me, even though I hadn't done it yet, they would say things like, right, you're different, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? They'd say that they could tell that, like, this guy's energy is different. He's coming at it from a different angle. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's what it was to do with, versus like, so if I was like a bum, then why would that be attractive? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm thinking about my daughter, yeah, and if I think about my daughter and it was a guy where he was signing on and so on and so forth, and he said that, yeah, I'm trying to build this thing, like, I'd probably be like leave him. You know what I'm saying? And unless I sat down and chatted with him and I thought to myself, you know what, this guy's gonna do something, yeah, then maybe. But like, it's hard to see that. It's hard to see that in somebody. So there's certain girls that have vision and they can see certain things. So yeah.
Wow,
But yeah,
amazing.
she started me through the hard journey. So and there's not many people that do that. So that's why, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that sounds like a keeper for real. And I suppose, yeah, I mean, a lot of these coaches paint it so black and white, like all women are this, all women are that. But
That's bullshit.
Mm.
That's bullshit with everything though, because nothing is as binary as that. Do you know what I'm saying? Or polaristic as that. Like it's black, it's white, it's this, it's that. Like there's always outlines, there's always nuances, there's always different little angles and things to things. Yeah, like nothing's like that. Nothing. Like if it was like that, it'd be a weird world we live in. Do you know what I mean? There's like if it was like that, yeah, then based on my situation and where I come from, I should be in prison. Do you know what I'm saying? Because then it would be obvious that's where my direction's going, because that's what I'm around this type of stuff. Yeah, that's where I should be. Yeah, but it's not. It's like something we have the ability to have thoughts and choice, and we can say to ourselves, you know what? I want different. I want to try something different. I want to approach it differently. I can get impacted by things. Yeah, like I remember my family was shot. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I remember that made me feel like, right, you know what? Yeah, like I've got to do something different in my life. Like I can't be rolling like that. I can't be moving like this, because that type of behavior, yeah, ends up in a really bad place. Like, do you know what I'm saying? You're dead. I've got kids. I'm trying to move my life forward, and that impacts you and makes you change. Do you know what I'm saying? So you can't just say that's what, like it's just black and white. I think that's bullshit.
For sure. There's a couple of questions. Obviously, I know you're busy. You've got time for a couple of questions before we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Farbod asked in the group. I asked the brothers for questions. He said, "How do we overcome mental blockage, mindset issues on our wealth creation journey?"
So I can tell you how I would go about it, yeah. And there's lots of different ways to do it, yeah. But I believe it's about having a schedule and being very intentional with what you do within your mind. So, for example, yeah, the night before, like so last night, I would sit down and I'd take like half an hour to an hour, yeah, and I would ask myself certain questions about how the day has been, yeah, and I ask myself like what went well, what could have went better, just different things that I'm asking myself, yeah, to get aligned with how I did in that particular day, yeah, and be intentional about what happened with that day. Then I look at the day coming up, and it's nothing special. I've got a Google Calendar, yeah, and I look at the day coming up. So I'm like, okay, I've got this book call, I've got that, I've got this, I've got this, I've got that, and I'm looking at what's going on. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I know like what I need to do for that day. And when I'm looking at what's going on as well, yeah, and this is when I say when you talk about mindset blocks, yeah, the block is that you're not intentional about what it is that you're trying to achieve. Yeah, so that's what's blocking you. But if you're looking at like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to sit down, I'm going to do some goal setting. Why is that important? Where am I trying to get to? What does that mean to me? If I get the right goal set out, well, like ask yourself questions around what it is you're trying to achieve, yeah, and visualize it and think into it, yeah. Then I'm doing that the night before. So that means as I'm sleeping, subconsciously I'm thinking about this stuff, yeah. My aim is that when I'm getting up, yeah, the first thing I'm doing, yeah, is again either exercise or asking myself certain questions, yeah. And it doesn't have to, for me, yeah, like I know you guys are on the fitness thing hardcore, yeah, but like it doesn't have to be anything too crazy. Like it could just be a quick little 5-minute interval cardio, 5, 10, 15 minutes sort of thing, yeah, to just get the blood pumping around your body, yeah. And then I sit down and I ask myself certain questions again, like, how do I want to show up today? And you might be like, what are you talking about? Like on a level, like, how do I want to show up today? Yeah, what's my message to myself today? What can I get excited about today? Because mental health is super important. Like, I've got to intentionally think about what can I get excited about today. Yeah, what's happening? It might be that I'm picking up my daughter today and I'm super excited about that. Yeah, think about what is it like? I'm speaking to a really big client today. Like, that's what's getting me excited. I'm going to do whatever it is. What can you get excited about? And start thinking about those things, thinking about your goals, things that you want to achieve. Ask yourself questions about even ask yourself questions, what could throw me off and how would my best self deal with those types of things, yeah? So I spend a bit of time doing that in the morning. then I read for half an hour, just something that's non-fiction, like I'll read some sort of business book or something around mindset or something like that, yeah. And I'll read for half an hour. I try to do that every single day, and that allows me to get through a number of books every few weeks. You know what I'm saying, yeah? So I read for half an hour, and then I meditate. So I sit there, like I just meditate for 20 minutes normally, have a shower, get ready, and get into my day. And my day is scheduled as well. So I know that I've got to do this, that, this. And don't get me wrong, when I say scheduled, it doesn't mean you have to be fixed in doing that every single day. It just means that you've got a framework of what you want to do. Now, based on the day, certain things might come up and you have to be flexible and you have to move that to here, move that to there, change different things around and stuff like that, yeah. But by being intentional, I find that's what allows you to break through blockages, because it sort of just knocks out all blockages out of the way anyway, because you've created like a pathway as to where you want to go. Now, if you find that you're coming up against things that where you're struggling and you're finding it hard, sometimes you just got to talk. You got to find people that you can talk to on a level, like a good friend, a buddy, somebody that you can have a chat with and say, you know what, I'm struggling with this, and that, yeah, and have a chat with people and have people. Sometimes that helps you get out of it. Sometimes you need to get in just a different environment, maybe just go for a walk, go for a jog, whatever it is, change your state. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's those types of things that you can do, but it is a struggle and it is a journey. So there's going to be times when you get knocked off. I think the key is how quickly you can get back when you get knocked off, because I get knocked off still now, and my goal is how quick can I get back to my routines and being on point again. Hopefully that helps answer that question.
No, amazing answer, amazing. Okay, next one. I want to ask about 3 questions from the group. Is that all right?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I've got until about 20 past.
Okay. So Deshaun asks, if we don't have something in mind on what we're passionate about yet that we can actually make money from, how do we come up with one? Well,
okay, that's a good question, you know. And what I would say is, this is where you've got, and this might take a little bit longer than normal, because if you don't have anything at all in mind, yeah, then this potentially could take anything from a few months to even years to come up with the right thing, if that makes sense, because you're going to have to explore. So what I would say to do, yeah, is just to start becoming very observant into what things excite you, what things do you get juiced up about, like, and if the answer is nothing, then if the answer is nothing, first let me address that if the answer is nothing, and nothing gets you going or excited you, like, that leads to me thinking that potentially, if it's nothing, you need to look at what's going on there, because if nothing gets you excited, nothing gets you juiced up here, then the opposite of that is depression and being in quite a bad state. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if it truly is nothing, like, because it's easy to say, nothing gets me excited, but really there are some things that get you excited. So it's about being honest with yourself, right? But if it truly is that, then I know there's stigmas around this year, but I would seek help. I would seek help on a level. Do you know what I'm saying? I would seek some sort of therapy and stuff like that to work out what's going on with you, that nothing actually excites you in life. Like, that's drama. Do you know what I'm saying? That's not a good position to be in. And even if nothing does excite you, I'm truly concerned, and I feel that you should, like, look to. It doesn't have to necessarily, like, I'd say potential therapy, but like start looking into yourself and start working out what's going on with you. Like, but in regards to how do you find it, yeah, it's about digging, it's about research, it's about looking at what's going on. What things do you do in a day? What things super get you excited? Where is there an opportunity to be able to make money with something that gets you excited, yeah? Like, or passion, or that you're passionate about. Where's there an opportunity? Like, if you look at some of the businesses that people build, right? Like, they build businesses from things that, like, there's a company that has built a business on helping people to stop watching porn. Like, millions. They make millions from that, from helping people to stop watching porn. Like, you'd never think that could be a business, but in today's day and age, like, you can literally have things like that now, where you can come up with an idea that helps solve something for somebody, and And that's what I've got to do. You've got to be able to sort of take a moment and really think about all the different things that you're into, or problems and pains and frustrations that you see that people might be going through. And you say, what could be a solution to that? And could I be the person to provide that? Or could I put together a team? Or could I find companies that provide that? Or could I take something that is old and bring a new twist to it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, could I take something that's old and bring a new twist to it? Because the hardest way to do it is create something completely brand new. Most things are not brand new. They're a combination of different things that have now got a new angle. But like, yeah, like, it's going to take time. You're going to have to, like, you have to, if the question that you're asking is good, but the question you should be really asking is that, what do I need to look for on a daily basis to actually find like ways to be able to build my business and create something that can be so just be very observant of what's going on around you. Like what do you do on a daily basis? Who are you around? Like what and when you're around these people, like what pains, what frustrations, what things you see that come up where you're like, right, if we was able to do this and this, would people buy into that? And sometimes, yeah, you'll come up with something, and because you come up with the first thing you come up with, you might think, oh yeah, that's it, and I'll go with it, yeah, and it might not be the thing, and then you might be like, oh, I don't know then. But like, you've got to keep going through that process of trying to work out what it potentially do, coming up with ideas. Sometimes just sit down and just write ideas. It doesn't matter what the ideas, how crazy, how wacky they are there. Write the ideas, and then try to say to yourself, all right, which ones, how would I make something like this happen? And start asking yourself questions about what would need to happen, who would need to be involved to make something like this happen. But it's about sort of sitting there and going through things and thinking about things and asking questions about your life and what you want.
Amazing. Sean also asks, should we all get business mentors and coaching to help us succeed financially, and how important is having a mentor in business?
That's a good question, and I'd say yes. I'd say yes and no. and that sounds weird. So it's about timing. So if, like, for example, if you don't know like what your passion is, what it is that you're trying to achieve, and so on and so forth, right? Like, I would say, first of all, try to work it out yourself. Like, spend some time. Like, typically the answer is within you, but some people, because of the way that they've been brought up in their life and whatever not, yeah, they've blocked themselves from being able to access certain parts of themselves to be able to come up with creativity and stuff like that. Yeah, so maybe getting a coach will allow you to go through a process that unlocks you, and then you can sort of be like, all right, cool. Now I get this type of thing. So it's about timing. Like, so I would say, first of all, try to do it yourself, right? But then once you try to do it yourself, you might come up with something, and then you might say to yourself, you know what, now I've got this to a certain level, I now need to break through to the next level. Now I need a coach. Like, so for myself, I get coaches all the time. The property business that we created, like, I'm good at marketing, but we were having a problem trying to convert cold traffic, people that didn't know us from Adam, into paid customers, right? We were having a problem doing that, and we know how to do advertising, but we knew it was something to do with our messaging. So we paid a guy almost 10 grand to help us create our messaging. And in some cases, you might spend that money and it doesn't actually get you a result. And then you're like, oh, business coaches don't work, it doesn't work, yeah? Like, I've done that before, right? But this particular time, it really worked for me, yeah? And it was an investment into myself and into our business, yeah? And it worked, and we got one, and it allowed us to get results. Like, if you go on pretty much any property video on YouTube and you're in the UK, yeah, you'll pretty much see our ad come up. Can I mention the name of the brand?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So if you're online and you see property sourcing secrets or reverse property sourcing or CCS property management, yeah, that's us, and you'll see that. And if you're in the UK and you're looking at like property videos in the UK, you'll probably see our ads come up in the roll throughs and stuff like that, because we spend a lot of money on advertising to get ourselves out there. But yeah, like, definitely I'd say, first of all, try to spend a bit of time with yourself. Like, don't just straight away run to a mentor, right? Like, spend a bit of time with yourself and work out what's going on with you. What do you want? Because then you can work out what type of mentor you need. Because starting off, right, you could get a certain way of the way without a mentor, and then once you get to a blockage, then you get a mentor. So if you're at a blockage right at the beginning, then yeah, maybe you need to get a mentor straight away. But like, if you're not, then don't just get a mentor because everyone says you need to get a mentor. Make sure that you do all the things you think you can do first of all, and then spin it, and then look at getting a mentor. Now, some might say that's the wrong answer, but that's what I think. That's what I think personally. Like, because you can spend a load of money on mentors, right? And if you get a mentor too early, it can make you get jaded, because you get a mentor too early, you're not really ready to have a mentor. You spent that money with a mentor, but you don't really feel like once you finish those sessions with that mentor that you've actually got anywhere. Where maybe, do you know what I'm saying? So I know it's a bit of a weird way of answering the question, but it's not just black and white like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, even personally, yeah, it definitely helps when you're clear on what you want to do and you 100% commit to it, because yeah, these mentors don't come cheap. And you can obviously, you know, learn a lot from obviously reading books and speaking to people, as well as I say. But definitely, I mean, I find my biggest personal jumps have been with working with a mentor. I might not have got the results straight away, but you know, sometimes, you know, you kind of figure things out and then you think back to where you learn things from, and it's like, and you even just observing how that mentor moves and their actions can be more than enough. And even how they kind of interact with you, how they run their business with you being a customer, it's like you're in kind of the inner workings. So that's
yeah, that's a good insight for real.
So Mark, share with just before we wrap this up, share with everyone. Obviously, I know you mentioned your business, but share if people want to get in touch with you, like how they can, and basically, I suppose you already touched on the property side, but yeah, what people can do if they want to really reach out next.
So really, like, we work with people that are in London and the surrounding areas around London and stuff like that want to get into property, that are already in property but need more deals. Like, they need more deal flow, so they're looking for landlords that they can work with, people that are looking for sellers to buy properties below market value or flip properties and stuff like that. We generate those opportunities day in, day out, and we're like, this month we're on target to spend about 30 grand in advertising, generating those opportunities. So like, we're doing that day in, day out, right? So if that's something that you're looking to get into and you want to, either you know it already and you need deal flow, or you are starting out and you want to work out how to get into the space, like, reach out to me on Facebook. You can send me a direct message on Facebook, or if you go to Property Sourcing Secrets, I believe it's .com or .co.uk, I can't remember now, but yeah, I think it's .com, propertysourcingsecrets.com, or reversepropertysourcing.co.uk. Type in any of those things into the search engines, and you'll find one of our websites. Put your email address in, and it will take you through a process of getting to understand what it is that we offer and what we do and stuff like that. But if anything, just find me on Facebook and have a chat with me. Just like, reach out to me on Messenger or something like that, yeah, and have a chat with me, and I'll ask you some questions about some stuff that you're doing, and we'll see if it makes sense. Like, yeah.
Amazing, Mark. Thank you so much for your time. Really enjoyed it. I'm sure everyone's got so much value from this, brothers. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, brothers. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you all on the next one.
Peace out, people.